Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello race fans and welcome back to the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. My name is Peter Mackay and I am delighted to be bringing you the action here from Suzuka in Japan with my broadcast partner Sam Fitzpatrick, and bringing you these lovely jazzy SDK Gaming graphics is Samuli Kumon, also working the cameras as well. Sam, we've had a little bit of a break. We've had a 3-week break from the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship, and it'll be interesting to see which drivers have made the most of that break time to get themselves ready for what is sure to be a challenging race here at Suzuka.
Absolutely. Some of these guys have been going in this championship for absolute years, and so whenever you can get a little bit of a break, I think it's time to enjoy yourself a free Thursday evening. Hopefully they've enjoyed it, but we're back racing again for what will be 9 races in just 11 weeks, of course, to finish off the season. Nearly halfway through the championship already, so it's very much full pelt to the end of the championship now, and their attention will be well and truly on this round 8 of the championship.
Indeed it will, and as you can see, Kieran Harrison did a very strong couple of rounds before we went on to our mid-season break. Carl Janssen had actually just edged ahead, but Kieran really turning the screw over the last couple of rounds. George Simmons actually moving up past Carl Janssen into second place. But it's a long old championship, and as Sam said, nine rounds in 11 weeks is a lot of racing. And of course, here in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship, we have 3 races per round as well, so it is super busy. In the AM Championship, it is super tight. As you can see, Mark Woodhouse leading for Team Mad by a slender margin over Ben Gregory, with Mark Johnston for Hesketh Racing sitting in 3rd place at the moment. But Sam, I want to talk about our man Adam Bath up there in 8th place, and with a good run, if he can continue his trajectory of improvement that he's had over the season, who knows, he could be a contender by the time we get to the final round.
Absolutely. Yeah, and certainly, you know, even just getting to the top 3 in the amateur category is a big deal. Some of these drivers are really top quality drivers, and so to finish at the top of the professional or the amateur championship is a big deal. I'll just add as well, those points do take into account one of the drop rounds in this championship. We have 16 meetings across the season, and you can drop your 2 worst scores from the first 14 meetings. The final 2 have to count, but the first 14 you can drop 2 meetings, and so one of those drops have been applied. So that's maybe why there's been a little bit of a shake-up, and I think that's perhaps a little reason why we see the gap quite so handsome for Harrison at the moment, albeit that is a well and truly gap. As you say, he's had a very good run of form, a good Australian swing, as of course Janssen got involved in a couple of crashes. He was able to stay out of it. But yes, almost a little bit of a reset. We've got a couple of new drivers as well to the championship, and of course back to a big boy circuit, I think. These drivers have been wanting to visit some more Grand Prix circuits this season, and well, this is absolutely one of them, a classic in Suzuka, and these TCR cars can really stretch their legs around here.
They certainly can, and of course the Suzuka, a real challenge in a car like this where you're used to seeing single-seater Grand Prix cars going around here with huge downforce, and they go through the S-bends like a Scarlett circuit. But with these touring cars, you really got to find the limit of grip and keep it there, and that's quite a challenge indeed. And it should be a fascinating spectacle today here at Suzuka. Of course, a circuit with so much heritage, built in 1961 by the Honda Motor Company on the orders of Mr. Honda, who wanted to produce a facility to showcase his products and also to test them as well. So he sent a telegram to John Hugenholtz in Holland, and all it read was, "I'm building a circuit, please come to Tokyo, Soichiro Honda." A nice and short and to the point, Sam. That's what we like to hear.
Absolutely. Well, I hear, I don't know how true this is, but the Japanese have a very different mannerisms to maybe what we have in the UK, where it is very much straight to the point on that type of stuff. And yeah, that was it was a good call, wasn't it? Because it's I think it's possibly the best design circuit of all time, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have a lot of other circuits which have been revised. You know, Silverstone. You think of the 20-odd changes that have happened to that circuit. Even Spa, obviously, I think was designed very well too. That hasn't changed too much over the years, but that's certainly up there. But this place barely changed over the years, and well, they could almost see into the future because it's still very adequate for today's racing.
Oh, it certainly is, for sure, indeed. And the thing with also John Hugenholtz, who was the designer of Zolder and of Zandvoort, and interestingly, when he came to design Suzuka, and of course, being a Japanese project, there was a certain amount of procrastination, which is very much typical, and it took quite a while for the project to actually get off the ground. But once it did get off the ground, it was full steam ahead. And John Hugenholtz was used to basically manoeuvring the circuit around the natural curvature of the land. But basically, Mr. Honda actually stopped him and said, no, you tell us where you want the circuit, and I'll sort the rest out. Basically, we'll just bulldoze it all out the way. So such was the influence that big Japanese companies had at that point, and still do. But what we got was this incredible circuit. And I have to say, as you know, Sam, I'm a big bike fan. this is home to the bike race, the Suzuka 8 Hour. And in fact, the Japanese manufacturers like Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, etc., it's a bigger deal to win the Suzuka 8 Hour than it is to win the MotoGP World Championship.
I did not know that. I'm very unfamiliar with the 8 hours and really all endurance racing in bikes. I mean, what profile of riders take part? I mean, are there ever any superbikes drivers or GP drivers, or is it kind of like a different category of races which racing?
So you get, for the Suzuka, it's interesting because the Suzuka 8 Hour is part of the global World Endurance Championship, if you like, for motorcycles. And you have most of the regular World Championship riders are French, actually, because the endurance racing is so big in France with motorbikes. But when it comes to Suzuki 8 Hours, Honda build a bike specifically for it. So do Yamaha, so do Suzuki, and so do Kawasaki. And some of the names that have raced in the Suzuki 8 Hour, Valentino Rossi's won it. Jonathan Rea has won it the last couple of years as well. To give you an idea, back in 1986, Yamaha paid Kenny Roberts $750,000 to come along because they were so desperate to beat Honda, and his leather sponsor paid him $500,000. So that probably gives you an idea just how big a deal it is. It's whatever needs to be done to win is done, and the only problem is that out of those manufacturers, of course, only one can win. So it's either extreme pride or extreme embarrassment. It's an amazing spectacle to watch because you can just tell how much is at stake.
Yeah, sounds pretty cool. I will make sure to watch it this year. When's it on?
Normally July, but I think it's pushed back this year again. They didn't have one last year, and I think they're going to run it in October. The riders will be very happy to hear that because in July it's 40 degrees and nearly 90% humidity, which sounds brutal.
Definitely. It's a little bit cooler for the drivers out there today. Morning time of day at the moment. I believe it's just a few minutes past 10. There you go. 10:30 then. 15th of May. Still pretty warm though, to be fair. 22 degrees air temperature, 43 degrees track temperature, and that will continue to rise through race 1, and it will peak in race 2 before getting much cooler for race 3, which will be on in the evening. We've only got 30 seconds more of qualifying, and once that timer ticks out, that's it. There's no complete the lap that you start. You've got to get across the line before the timer ticks down. Jack Cedric is just crossing the line at the moment. That last lap time was not an improvement for him, 4/10 of a second slower. The other top drivers also not out there, but Roman Bokler could be in for something here. No, he's not going to reach the line. Good luck for Marcel Fitch to move up into second place in the amateurs, but there's the checker flag, and unfortunately for Bokler, did not have enough time. I don't think it would have been an improvement anyway, and that is qualifying done for this meeting 8 of the season.
Indeed it is, and Wojciech Savidovic is your pole sitter who has handled those really hot, greasy track temperatures to put it on pole position. Jack Cedric just 1/10 of a second off the pace and will join Wojciech Savidovic on row 1. Row 2 will be Fraser Smith and championship leader Kieran Harrison. Row 3 sees George Simmons and Damian Harris roll off together. Row 4 will be Roman Bokler and Vasily Zaitsev. And row 5 will be Terje Flatten and Corentin Guinez. Your AM class championship leader on pole in class in 11th overall, Mark Woodhouse for Team Mad. And alongside him will be Jason Cooper in the 5-star motorsport machine. Row 7 is Marcel Fritsch, followed by Norbert Leitner. We also have Igor Sherikov, Marcel Tai, Oystein Herford, Martin Aschert, Sergei Glazkov, and Ben Gregory rounding out the top 10. Top 20, my apologies. Starting 21st is Tim Perry, the AM class prototype P2 champion in the Apex Racing League just last week. Bruno Belny, our resident Martiniquez driver, begins from 22nd on the grid. Andrew Woodhouse starting 23rd, and Toby Ward will roll off from 24th. And our last few now, we have Arjen Bakker, John Billingsley, Jack Tingy, Richie Day, Andrew Bremer, Carl Janssen starting from the back, Daniel Nagy, Oliver Ackerman, Martin Shirley, and Craig Williams. So a lot of drivers serving qualifying bans, it would appear, Sam.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of a change for this round. There's a glitch in iRacing apparently, which means that you can't get out of your pit stall if you start from the pits. So those drivers will just be starting from the back of the grid. They haven't done qualifying, but they'll be right at the back. So watch out for a few places gained for Janssen.
Indeed it will, and we are green, we are go here at Suzuka for the first of 3 races, and it's a good start from Wojciech Savidovic in the number 180 Apex Racing Team car. Cedric nudging up the inside there as well. Fraser Smith going to try and hook it around the outside, and look at Kieran Harrison there in the HM Engineering car, the number 1, the red machine. They go into the S's, and Savidovic has got the perfect start. Cedric in second, Harrison does get through, and Damien Harris and Fraser Smith, 2 real rivals in the touring car, they get through as well. All being considered, a clean start, Sam.
Yeah, some good racing right there from the Jazz. Yeah, hard work from Harrison to get that move done. The two of the HM Engineering cars side by side, Guinness versus Leitner. We'd expect Guinness to have a little bit more pace. Wasn't a good qualifying for the Frenchman, but he does eventually move up into 11th place. On good start from Mark Woodhouse is down 2 places after being top of the outer drive. Still is top of the outer drives as Perry goes off the circuit. This could be very unsafe coming back on. Fortunately, he saves it. Who didn't save it though was Ward, Toby Ward, who has no, wasn't Toby Ward. It was John Billingsley, apologies, who went sliding off the circuit. Should be able to continue. No fast as in this championship, but yeah, should be fine to continue there. As Bremer also going off now at the hairpin.
Oh, what a pity for Andrew Bremer, but I have to say, you got to give props there to Tim Perry, because the amount of times we see that car careering over the grass and it becomes a little bit of a bowling ball. Oh, Damien Harris going off as well. He's dropped nearly 10 places. What's happened there? He's got a dent on the back of the car, so that's never a good sign. But yeah, Tim Perry had his foot on the brake, and that allowed him to stop before contacting with another driver. So top marks there. But I wonder what happened to Damien Harris in the 177 car, which is an interesting one. He's dropped a lot of places. Look at Roman Bolper hanging it around the outside at 130R into the Casio triangle. They go. Can he get it done? Brilliant stuff. Seals it up. A calculated move there, Sam.
Yeah, pushing it on the inside. I thought he might be getting a slowdown there, but I think he's got away with it. Yeah, good pace to get past, of course, second place man in the championship, George Simmons. But here comes Simmons back, or maybe he'll just try to stay behind his rival and maybe tow up to the back. Cooper being overtaken by Guinness, so Guinness after that core qualifying is already. In fact, he's only up 1 place. Ooh, big slide for Zaitsev, who's wide. And he's going to lose a place to Guinness. He's going to lose a place to Cooper, I think, although you can run side by side in these cars around this part of the circuit. And it's very tricky to know who's going to get the upper hand once you're side by side. This you isn't else where you're going to be side by side in a couple of corners time. There's really no giving as Andrew Woodhouse has an off. Down to 29th place, Cooper's gone off, and he must have made contact then with Zaitsev through that part of the circuit. Zaitsev's fine, Zaitsev's still in 9th place, but Cooper is not fine, and he drops way down the order.
Well, not a good start there for Jason Cooper. Of course, he started alongside Mark Woodhouse, and a little bit of digital aero wake there, also known as netcode. Unfortunately, a little bit of an occupational hazard racing on the internet. Sometimes you just get that tiniest little bit of discrepancy between the sim and your input, and yeah, just that little bit. It's often referred to as ghost contact, which is another good way to describe it.
Yeah, that was quite a gap there. Of course, it's located in Russia, so understandable on that one. Simmons is trying to come back on both. I thought he might just stay behind, try to tow up to the rest of the drivers. Anything, but he feels like he's faster. He wants to get ahead, and this should be good enough for Simmons here because he's got the outside line. Usually indicates that you're going to have a better run out of the corner, and now he's just sliding ahead. Simmons, very experienced driver. I'm sure he got the spotter telling him that he was clear. However, he lost quite a bit of speed by the end of that straight, and it's actually Bokler who moves back ahead. And of course, that is where he got past earlier on. Also, Guinness is continuing to slice through the order. He's up into P7 if he can make this move stick, which he cannot. And Terje Fatin was getting a little bit of support in the chat earlier on. Does keep that position.
Yeah, it's always good to see the drivers with their fans, but look at this leading quartet here, led by Wojciech Savidovic, Jack Cedric trying to hook it around the outside as well. Harrison Wright, he's the kind of jam in the sandwich, isn't he? And he's the right colour for it too. And Fraser Smith at the back there, just sort of stalking. Well, I was going to say stalking, but it wouldn't be a very good stalker because he's just given Harrison a big bump up the backside.
Yeah, and that is now Cedric up into the lead as well. So to get past Savidovic, certainly not decisive, but it is a nice move. And Savidovic is, oh, well, I thought he was around, but he must have absolutely buried the throttle and got the car back pointing in the right direction. And all this fighting is allowing Cedric to pull away now. Harrison to keep him behind a very fast Fraser Smith. He's having a nice round here with Fraser Speed full send racing. Make sure they stay within the draft range of the race leader. But Cedric has had a very frustrating season. One of the best drivers, runner-up a couple of times in this championship, is leading the way here at Suzuka, and Savidovic quickly going from first down to fourth.
Yeah, I tell you, it's kind of counterintuitive, isn't it, with these front-wheel drive cars? Normally, if you lose it, the last thing you think you should be doing is hitting the throttle pedal, but actually it's a good way to try and straighten the car out, actually. And oh, Cedric a little bit wide there, right onto the green part of the circuit there, that kind of horrible artificial grass, which is not very grippy at all. Now, of course, we must mention that here at Suzuka, for whatever reason, the tarmac is incredibly greasy. Usually we do get very high track temperatures, which we do have today, 43 degrees Celsius on the track, and that makes it incredibly greasy. Actually, I was ran in the Apex Racing League Porsche Cup a few weeks ago, and it was like driving on an ice rink.
Yeah, apparently they use volcanic ash, I believe, in the tarmac. Volcanic ash, a notoriously slippery substance. So, yeah, very much a low grip circuit, this one, along with a couple of others in this part of the world. Very close racing here between Shirkov, Harris, Ty, and Janssen also, who is up over 15 places already. Janssen, oh, he's on the inside there, nearly contact, but he does manage to get past he's going to get past two drivers here, isn't he? Ty and Harris are dispatched. Harris, who of course was in the top 10 earlier on, but went off on lap 1 at Spoon Corner and hasn't recovered too much since then. Harris down 9 places from his race start, but Janssen absolutely slicing his way through. He started down in 30th place, he's already up to 13th, we're only on lap 4. This race is not 99 laps, by the way, it is 20 minutes in length, just like race 2 and race 3. And so we've got 12 minutes to go in this race 1 of the evening.
And this is interesting because we're seeing what Carl Janssen showed in the first half of the season, where particularly in the reverse grid races starting further back in the pack, he's got such an aggressive style where he really cuts through the pack with absolutely no hesitation, whereas Harrison just considers things a little bit more, just takes his time and picks his way through gently and does it in a very different way. The end result is very similar, but I tell you what, the further up the field that Janssen's getting, he's getting more and more stern opposition there. You can see Aker Shirikov in no mood to let Carl Janssen by, and Janssen right on his quarter panel here, he lunges to the outside, in they go to Spoon Curve, the kind of double apex left-hander, it's probably a triple apex actually, as you see Damien Harris on the recovery drive after an earlier incident, and still can't quite get it done on Shirikov, but Carl Janssen is through and sets his sight on the AM class leader, Mark Woodhouse, in 11th place.
So I think Harris got past Ty earlier on in this lap. I think they were the other way around when Janssen was able to overtake them. And now Harris needs to make sure he starts moving forward. Shirikov just not with the pace of his teammate Zaitsev at the moment. Harris around the outside, going to absolutely kill their exit here. It's a very long straight, and might be the opportunity for Ty to make a move, wants to gain that damage. Fiercely forward car just ahead. Ty might be able to wait to go and box himself in if he's not careful. There you go, I think the inside line would be a better move, but Harris blocks it off. and Ty has to stay in 15th place. Fitch and Hereford behind. There wide goes Shurikov, and he does finally lose that place, and in the end it was a bit of a mistake from Shurikov. Flashes the lights. I don't know about you, Peter. I think those flashing lights are different. I don't know if that's part of the update, but I do think those flashing of the lights do look that much more focused now. So fantastic work from iRacing to add that. Something we've been calling for years.
Well, indeed, it's something that Audi drivers have demanded for many years. As a good headlight flasher, as aggressive and sharp on a headlight flash as possible, is very much an Audi driver trait. And yes, it's certainly a touring car thing as well, isn't it? You see it a lot in various touring car championships around the world, where the headlight flasher button is worn out by the end of the race. But so you see Roman Bokler and Wojciech Savidovic, our pole sitter, don't forget, now battling together. So it seems like Wojciech's lost the kind of scent of the front group, and then fallen into the clutches of two proper assassins here in the form of Guinez and Bokler.
Well, this is Simmons. Savidovic, the other Apex guy, just a little bit up the road. By the way, I'm glad you weren't around on Sunday, actually. Well, it was bad that Lee was around on Sunday, seeing that he's the one who dishes out the bills. I rewatched about 5 minutes of the broadcast, and honestly, I made about 10 mistakes in terms of just naming drivers wrong. I couldn't believe it. It was as though I'd all of a sudden aged 60 years or something. So do not feel bad, because I had an absolute mare back on Sunday. Bokler then losing out to Guinness. So Guinness is passed, and yeah, looking to get past Simmons. So Guinness up 4 places. Great pace for Guinness. By the way, the top is it 21 get reversed? Top 20 get reversed for race 2, so you won't be in that top 20 if you possibly can. Cedric has lost the lead to Haas. I thought he may have been able to break away, to be honest. The gap was up to 9 tenths of a second, but I think a combination of the drafts around this circuit with fairly long straights, and also just the pace of Kieran Harrison has brought him back into play. And we wait to see if Smith and Savidovic can get into play with this one. But Harrison looking very strong at the moment, so he's got plenty of time to pressure Smith.
That he does, yeah, indeed. And that's one thing about Kieran Harrison, is he will just play it very, very carefully and take his time. So you can see George Simmons here again trying to defend from Guinez and Bokler, and Norbert Leitner up there as well. So he's got a triple threat of HM Engineering cars behind him to worry about, and they're all such strong drivers. And of course, Roman Bokler has quite a bit of real-world experience racing touring cars as well. So he's well trained in the RG and the Bargy.
Yes, so always something absolutely fundamental in these cars, and it's it's usually fair. It's usually fair. But you do have to get your elbows out if you're going to get any good results. Love to see 3 HM Engineering cars in a row at the moment. Always worth putting up the photographer. Just how close the drivers are. We can quickly go back to 16th place, and it's just 1 corner behind. Rich ahead of Hereford, and Stuart Woodhouse top of the amateur drivers. Ben Gregory 2nd place in the amateur championship, down in 22nd place, as we are going to have a change for the lead. I think Harrison on the outside, still staying alongside of Cedric. Usually it's the outside you actually want this one, because it turns into the inside for the second part of the chicane, but good speed carried by Cedric, and Smith is going to try to take advantage of this.
Indeed he has, yeah. He's gone through full NASCAR style with the bump draft there, and just followed his way through like a snake in the coming out of the Casio chicane, and they go piling down towards turn 1 now. This is going to get very, very saucy, and Kieran Harrison, he's biting off. He's done very, very well there not to lose it off the circuit, but carries on, carries the speed through. Cedric, oh dear, Cedric leading. Harrison sneaks past Fraser Smith with apparent ease, and Savidovic, of course, not falling off the scent, very much on the scent. And actually, of course, as we know, Sam Savidovic is a real, he's a real seasoned campaigner, shall we say. So he'll have seen this all before, and I kind of feel like he's just sussing it all out, biding his time.
Yeah, of course, 6-time champion the Apex, or
Mm-hmm.
at least the British Touring Car Championship. Apologies, British Touring Car Championship.
That would be impressive.
That would be impressive. Of course, we have had Ashton take part in this 2-time British Touring Car Champion, but no, British Sim Racers Touring Car Champion 5 times is Severich, and also won the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship Winter Series as well. So by far the most accomplished driver in this series. Of course, Harrison won last season. Baker as well won a BSRTC Championship a few years ago. Albeit that was I think back in 2016. So it's going back a little while. Is that one? Simmons and Cedric and several others, top drivers who have yet to take a title to their name. Cooper is right on the tail now of Negi. Of course, Negi in reverse grid pole position. Oh, so we've got another change for the lead here. Other way round this time for Mahousen. Let's see if we can make it.
Well, he's just that little bit better on the brakes there, and he's going to, he's just taken a leaf out of Cedric's book there. And oh, well. Oh, Cedric just shut the door so late there and actually got a boot in the door there from Fraser Smith, flashing his lights to say, that was a little, my nose is sore from being snipped off there. And Savidovic, he says, okay, now time to get the elbows out and fire down and try and take this third spot from Smith. And door banging wheels between Harrison and Cedric. Absolutely amazing. But Harrison gets through, but you get the feeling, Sam, that Cedric is not going to let him have this easy.
Absolutely, Cedric still looks quick. With the draft, he should be able to stay close, but that could be a decisive move there for Savidovic. And it was a good start. Hereford crashing off there, and that was with Marcel Fritsch, I believe. I'm not 100% sure about that one, but Fritsch would certainly make sense. And then Hereford with a lot of damage. Yeah, I think that was Marcel. So I'm not sure whose fault that was. I imagine there might be some protests for the stewards to investigate, however, after the race.
Indeed, there may be. Of course, we've just, since we were last with you folks in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship, we've had a big iRacing update. Every 12 weeks there is a big season end update on the iRacing service where they do a lot of different changes to the cars, to the tracks, and to the general operation of the simulator. And one thing that I've noticed quite a lot so far since the update, Sam, is the touring cars. This Audi RS3 touring car, it seems to be a little bit more fragile on suspension damage. You can sort of break a toe link quite easily, and of course if you break a toe link, your steering becomes almost worthless. So the driver's going to have to be pretty careful about that. I'm sure they've done a lot of practice and they'll have done a lot of official racing in the car, but yeah, I think that might be a factor as we progress through the rest of the season.
Absolutely, any small changes to the damage model, can make a huge difference with how close this racing is, and just how unlucky you can be sometimes if a car spears into you. Nothing you can do sometimes, and no fast repairs as well in this championship. And, a 0 score is really very bad, even compared to just finishing 30th position. So you still get 30 odd points for that, so it's really important that you finish every race that you can. Harrison just pulling far enough away from Cedric to be safe down into turn 1. This is gonna be the last lap of the race, so he's survived the main scare there, has Harrison. Of course, 130R still the big one, but could still change. Guinez up ahead of Sims now, so leading that big train. Certainly my driver of race 1 is Guinez after qualifying in 10th position up into 5th position right now. And Mark Woodhouse top of the amateur drivers. And just a reminder for new viewers to the championship, you score points on your overall position. So the fact that Woodhouse is leader of the amateur drivers doesn't necessarily mean he's going to score extra points. It's all about what position you finish overall, and so the fact that he's got cars between himself and Glasgow in second place, that is huge, and so could be very beneficial here for Woodhouse, but Harris is right on his tail.
Indeed he is. He's just got to play this one really smart, as Mark Woodhouse, and he'll be in place for some very chunky points indeed. Now, they kind of have split into two pairs now, it seems. Just Svidovic and Smith just dropping back slightly there and now bickering over the last position on the podium. Harrison still leads, but look at Simmons here. Cedric, my apologies. Harrison and Cedric here, they're going to be, looks like they're going to be the guys who are going to battle over this lead battle, but Svidovic goes up the inside at Spoon Curve, takes third place from Fraser Smith, but Fraser Smith will have the draft going up towards 130R. But look at Cedric around the outside at 130R. They bang wheels again. This is going to be who is the bravest. Oh my words, Harrison using all the roads. Cedric has to go off the road. Cedric has now got the inside line. They hit the brakes hard going into the Casio Triangle for the final time. Is it going to be Cedric? Is it going to be Harrison? Harrison in the number one. They bang wheels again. Oh, this is going to be too close. It's a drag race to the line. Is it going to be Cedric? It is! Oh my goodness me. Cedric takes the spot from Harrison at the very last moment, and Svidovic takes the last spot on the podium. What a finish!
Well, I'd like to see a replay of that one. Cedric was so close, wasn't he, through the second sector? Stormed through the outside. Harrison was very aggressive in terms of trying to hold on to that place, and they were willing to put everything on the line to reach the checkered flag first. It was first. I mean, Cedric, credit to him, he tried to make the corner, but Harrison very much didn't leave him too much space. Then credit to Harrison, he left space for Cedric to rejoin onto the circuit. And then heading into the side contact the first time, then a bit of netcode contact, I think, and then just Cedric being able to get on the thoughts maybe that little bit earlier, and had crucially the shorter run to the line. In the end, I thought Svidovic and others would have a chance. Smith would have a chance at it, but lovely move there from Cedric, and I really can see him back on the top step of the podium.
What a thrilling finish, and that's what we've come to expect here in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. Quick recap of the results then. Jack Cedric wins by 41 thousandths of a second from Kieran Harrison, with Wojciech Svidovic in just under 0.2 of a second off the win and getting the last spot on the podium. Fraser Smith has to settle for fourth, with Corentin Guinez progressing up nicely to fifth, George Simmons in sixth, Roman Botler seventh, Vasily Zaitsev eighth, followed by Terje Flatten and Norbert Leitner rounding out the top 10. Good drive from the back of the pack for Kar Janssen, followed by Damien Harris and Marcel Tai. Mark Woodhouse is your AM class winner in 14th, followed by Igor Shirokov, Martin Ashert, Jason Cooper and Daniel Nagy. Sergei Glazkov, your AM class second place finisher, and Craig Williams, we think, getting the last spot on the reverse grid, we think, Sam. 20 cars, the reverse grid.
Yes, and he's just quit the session. But he's reconnected to the session.
Oh!
So it's all right. The roller coaster, that is.
Drama.
Is racing at Suzuka. Yeah, I don't know what that's about, so maybe just wants to reset or something. But yeah, there he is. And then, yeah, Perry, Gregory, Ford, Woodhouse. Bruno Belny, the Martinique driver. We are going to mention his nationality whenever we can. Arjun Banker,
almost as much as we mention Jake Robertson's rallycross skills.
Well, of course. Yeah. Dear me. Arjun Bakker in 26th. Yeah, Shirley, Tingy, Day, Hereford, Fritsch after that crash. Billingsley after going off on lap 1, but Billingsley didn't even get to the finish. In fact, those bottom 5 drivers, won't score points. You need to be either on the lead lap or 1 lap down in order to score points. So Hereford and Fritsch had to tow back to the pits, I believe. Will not score any points, so that is a shame for him.
That is a pity indeed, and it's tough to come back from that. You know, it's you're giving away so many points. Like you said, you're even better just to, if you can try and get home even on the lap behind the lead lap, you can still get those points. But so we can see actually the track temperatures come down a little bit strangely. It's down at 38. It was at 43. We're progressing to about lunchtime now here in Sim at Suzuka. So it'd be interesting to see what we get for the third race, the kind of dusk race, if you like. And I wonder, Sam, if you with your persuasive powers, if we could have another night race like we had at Zolder a few weeks ago in the GTs. That was brilliant.
We'll see. We'll see. Maybe at Daytona. Daytona will definitely. I won't release too much about the schedule next season, but Daytona's on the schedule next season. So that will be a night race for race 3. So hopefully that will please you, as I think the lights are about to come on.
Indeed, yeah. Speaking of lights, you'll need those. So Craig Williams is back in the session. He is on pole position alongside Sergei Glazkov. We wait for the lights to come up. Here they come. We're about ready to go, and we are off for the second race of the evening here in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. Pretty good start from Craig Williams. He quickly goes over to defend from Glazkov, but you've got to worry about Daniel Nagy, who's going around the outside. Nagy gets past Glazkov there into second place, but it's Craig Williams in the 127 car leading away early.
Remarkable start for Woodhouse, up 4 places already. Brilliant effort from him. I didn't really see his launch, but must have been a good one. Janssen as well, trying to make his way up through the order. Fantastic chance at a race win for him in this race too, but he's kind of boxed in. Apologies, he's actually on the outside of Leitner at the moment in the HM Engineering car. Marcel Tai just ahead, and so Janssen having to push his way through in the end, and Bopler is going to get past Leitner as well, so Leitner lost out to one of his teammates in race 1, Guinez, loses out to another one here, and he might lose more positions down into the Degners. Real hold up there. Flatton's now off the circuit, does well to keep control of the car, and he's now trying to keep George Simmons behind. This is the smallest reverse grid we've had all season long, so really expect the top guys to be up the front by the end of the race, as Damien Harris up there in 6th place. He's up 3 places from his start, but he's got the debutants, Aus Church, just ahead of him. He needs to clear very quickly, Harris. He might have a chance at the race win if he can clear quick.
Yeah, Martin Ashert there in the 198. Great to have him involved in the championship as well from the Netherlands. Always nice, we've got lots of Dutch drivers in the sim racing world, and they've both gone wide. There have Damien Harris and Martin Ashert, and that's allowed. That is allowed Sherikov to... No, my apologies. Oh God, I'm making so many mistakes tonight. That has allowed Harris to go through in the 5-star Cooper. Goodness me, I'll get my coat.
Could make bingo cards in this one.
We could. Murray Walker made mistakes. That's all I'll say.
He did. He sure did. Make a lot of them. Here comes Nagy on Williams. Nagy looks quick. Williams, many-time race winner in this championship. And he does stay ahead though. Brilliant defense. And here comes Woodhouse. What a first lap for Mark Woodhouse. Oh no, it's Janssen. It's Janssen. Now, is that a puncture, or is that... Oh, I think that might just be a puncture for Janssen. And if that's the case, then that's not too much damage. But, well, what has happened here?
Happened.
Well, has he hit another driver, or has he hit the pit?
No, he's got sandwiched between Guinez and I think one of the... I don't know, it was definitely Guinez was one of them, and Shirikov, that's it. Yeah, what good spot. Samuli Kumar, our producer, and that could not have happened at a worse place, because he's just past the pit entry, whereas if it had happened 50 yards before, he could have got into the pits and gone to get his fast repair and get back out again. But now Carl Janssen has got the longest lap in Japan to get all the way around here at Suzuka to get back into the pits, and that's his chances really kind of done for this race too. But Bruno Belny, oh no, the Martiniquez driver, he's going the wrong way, which is not advisable. But he's decided to park it up. That's a pity. Park it up and have a rum punch on the beach.
Janssen towed back to the pits. He was so slow with that puncture. It's just a puncture. But of course, front wheel drive these cars, so you can't steer and you can't deploy any power, so it's not a fantastic combination. Faster actually just to tow, and well, he's going to finish more than 1 lap down. He's going to finish 2 laps down. Is Janssen, I think, with that one. So that's going to be no points, I think. However, we do have a big reverse grid for race 3. 32 cars reverse. We've only got 34 drivers signed up. We've only got 33 to take the start. So he might be on reverse good pole here. Good Janssen, despite the fact he may not score any points, certainly not the way he would have planned it, but well, silver linings and that. Woodhouse is holding off Nagy. That failed move for the lead, but Nagy could really cost him, as Glazkov is overtaken by both Cooper and Harris. And yeah, I really think if Nagy had been able to get past Williams, may have been able to pull away from the rest of the order. But now this race is going to be very tricky for him because, yeah, with Cooper, Harris, and of course the likes of Simmons, Savidovic, and Harrison are all going to be chasing him down by the end.
Yeah, and Guina is up to 9th position as well. Norbert Leitner in 8th too. So yeah, they are going to have an armada of HM Engineering quick drivers and others coming along too. And but good start from Craig Williams, leading away from pole onto lap 3 now. But I'll tell you what, this has been a vintage night already for Mark Woodhouse, of course, getting a huge chunk of points for the AM Championship in race 1. Now, well, if he can be anywhere near this, he'll be putting in a huge haul of points. And after it's quite an important psychologically after coming back from a break and getting those big points on the board. This is huge for Mark Woodhouse.
Absolutely, as Nagy tries to go on a move on him, because he managed to get a lot of momentum in before the break, did Woodhouse, so it's very easy for that momentum to change again when we come back from the break, but he's been able to maintain it, he's been able to continue it and expand it, really. So fantastic news for Woodhouse if he can get a good result tonight. But Williams is pulling away. Remember, Williams, I think, got a 2nd place back at Silverstone when we were racing on the international layout. It was a while back. It was a while back, to be fair. I think back in January was that one. But he hasn't really fought for a race win ever since then, I believe. I play myself at third, so I'm getting something hopelessly wrong here. But with Woodhouse holding up Nagy, he's been able to break away slightly. Woodhouse not with a very good spoon corner either. And here comes Nagy, who, well, was so close to taking the lead. He really needs to get past Woodhouse. It's very obvious to say. But so Cooper and Harris are now right on his tail. So this battle for 2nd place literally goes back down to 22nd place. It's just a train of cars. So this is going to be an entertaining couple of laps.
Yeah, it certainly is. That's for sure. And yeah, Craig Williams. It must be corners. It must be circuits with fast corners that he likes. It's Silverstone and Suzuka. He's certainly been off like a shot here in the early stages of this race here at Suzuka. And well, Woodhouse, yeah, doing Craig Williams the biggest favour ever here by holding up Daniel Nagy. Well, holding up's not the right word, by defending his position from Daniel Nagy, and that's not allowing Daniel. Whoa, who's that? Got Sergei Glazkov off in a big way, but that's the Alain Prost line, the Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna wedged together line that he's just taken there, but he's managed to get back going again.
Don't know whose that line is.
You must have seen Senna.
No, sorry, I was looking at the when he went off through the 2nd part of turn 1. I think Rosberg went on. But yes, iconic, no doubt, into, yeah, that was a rather large crash. He's my expert analysis of that.
That it was. The best part was the Jackie Stewart interview afterwards. And,
well, of course, and it created one of the greatest myths of the motorsport world.
It did. I mean, when he's like, the thing about you, Stuart, and you're like, oh, ouch. He wasn't happy, was he? He didn't like it.
Well, of course, I think that was the one where he said, if you don't go for a gap, you're no longer a racing driver.
It is.
And of course, he did admit, like a year afterwards, that it was deliberate. So that makes that statement completely invalid because he was lying at the time. But it's become a legendary phrase, of course, and a mantra for many a racing driver.
And many an amateur sim racer as well.
yes.
If you no longer come from 100 metres back, you're no longer a sim racer. So, here we go for the lead. Mark Woodhouse looking up the inside of Craig Williams. So he said, I've done you your favour, you haven't got it. And Mark Woodhouse is having a look to go for the lead here. Nagy getting a little bit physical as well, and that's pushed Woodhouse offline. Ooh, that was a little bit saucy there from Daniel Nagy, and Mark Woodhouse will be livid at that because that looked like a little bit of a bump and run there. And Craig Williams now has got his mirrors full of Daniel Nagy's Audi.
Oh, too late to cover it off here for Williams, and here comes Nagy. finally, can he get the move done for the lead? No, he can't. Brilliant speed there for Williams. I mean, he should be able to get it stopped, should be able to square off this corner. Oh, you know what? Kind of a lot of speed that corner did Negi. Still, Williams trying to pull ahead. He has done. Oh, and crash for Ascher just behind. Oh, he's very fortunate not to rejoin to the circuit dangerously. And Ascher, after a really nice meeting so far, I doubt that one that was his fault. Actually, just a quarter panel and sent him round right there. But we've now got the top 13 drivers. 14 drivers separated by 4 seconds. Less than 4 seconds, 3.7 seconds. You can see it for yourself. I don't really need to explain it. And there you go. Sam Kuman pointing it out on the timing tower. This is as close a race as you are ever going to see. We're halfway through this one, and literally anyone here from the top 15 is still with this race. Look at Cedric, only in 14th place. He was so good in race 1. He's only made 6 places up, and that's just the competitiveness of this field. As Guinness then senses a race win here, and he's trying to make Woodhouse another place.
He is indeed, yeah. You've got to feel for Woodhouse there, because he did get a little bit nudged, but he's not. A little bit of consolation is that he's still 10 places ahead of his nearest competitor in the AM class, so still in shape is Mark Woodhouse. But tell you what, of course, Japan, home of the incredible, I think, probably the greatest engineering marvel of all time, the Shinkansen bullet train that was built in the 60s. When you think about it, it's crazy. This is like an Audi version of a Shinkansen.
Yes. Yeah. That's one way of putting it. I mean, these things get up to about 150 mile an hour, I think.
Shinkansen goes quicker than that.
It does go a bit. I mean, is it 220? I think.
Depends which model. They've got some. There's one that looks like a platypus, and then there's one that kind of looks like an arrow. It's they are amazing looking things, and yeah, they do. They go like the clappers.
Here comes Negi for the race lead again. Williams. Well, last time it worked for him, the outside line, but this time Negi's that much closer, and he's actually ahead down into turn 1, so Williams just letting him have this one. I think he'll try to fight back later on. Feels like he's quick enough to stay close. But Negi, despite maybe a penalty coming his way, up into the race lead at the moment. Cooper and Harris close behind. Guinness around there as well. Some real top quality drivers up in this top 10. And Williams just, I mean, he's got all the experience in the world and all the charisma, of course, in the world as Craig Williams. But I think could well be dropping down the order fairly soon. It's just lacking that few tenths of a second on these guys. And Negi starting to pull away ever so slightly.
Of course, you'll see you've got Craig's face on the side of the car, of the Craig setup shop car. You can actually get some setups from him for your iRacing, and you can also get setups, for example, the one on George Simmons' car from Apex Racing Academy, can't you, son?
Sure can. Of course, you can also get commentated laps from George, pointing out where about all the racing lines and such that he's using. You can also book a one-on-one coaching session with George, who is over 7,000 iRating, 8,000 iRating, I believe, even. So if you want more details on that, go to apexracingac.com, where there's 28 other data packs which follow the official days. From prototype single-seaters, GT cars, of course these touring cars, and of course rallycross cars as well. So get a subscription to Apex Racing Academy and you can have access to all of those setups at your disposal. Here is Simmons, of course, and he's on the back of Boca. Will not be an easy move by any means with Boca. I believe there's won at least one race in this championship in the past. Oh, it's almost like a traffic jam with Woodhouse well out of shape. Simmons, though, gets past Bogle, who was very compromised right there.
And Kieran Harrison has been compromised as well, because look at this, Cedric going flying past there. So a little bit of a compromised exit for Kieran Harrison, and it's getting very, very busy there in the midfield. Daniel Negi having to defend quite hard there from Craig Williams. So I tell you, Craig Williams very good there in Sector 1. Got some strong pace, but the problem is you need the track position to be able to deploy that pace. So it'll be interesting to see where, if Craig Williams can basically create an opportunity to try and move past Daniel Negi and try and slow him down a little bit. As you can see, there's quite a gang coming up behind him. Jason Cooper there, Damien Harris, Cornton Greenhouse and Roman Bokler as well. And they've just broken away a little bit from Simmons in 7th position.
Yeah, Simmons getting past Woodhouse has cost him a bit of time, but I think he'll be on to these guys by the time they get bound to get to the start-finish line on this lap, because he's got very clean air and Jack extending to his heart's desire. They will get some penalty points should they reach 10 incidents. Of course, a drive-through as well at 16 incidents, so they do have to think about that a little bit. But that's Guinness. Not sure if that was contact or him just being turning out of the corner there. Thankfully for him, his teammate Bokler just lets him have that one, and Guinness not happy at Harris by any means. But good to see Williams. Apologies to Craig. I really underestimated him. He has been able to keep up with Nagy and still got a good chance at this race win. And Zaitsev, I think, passing Ty. In fact, Ty is being passed by a bunch of drivers at the moment. Look at them all go. Fraser Smith's going to have a little bit of this one. And Glasgow almost getting passed as well. So I don't know what happened to Ty there. Been holding on very well, but I think that was 4 places lost in one corner.
Yeah, it just shows you in this type of motor racing, if you make a slight mistake, you can be absolutely mugged. And look at Craig Williams here, absolutely bumper to bumper with Daniel Nagy, who covers the inside line for dear life, making sure there's absolutely no way that he can be mugged up the inside, and he just about hangs on. And Williams is kind of, hits a bit of a roadblock there as well, but that's sure to compromise Daniel. Oh my! Oh, it's your championship leader, Kieran Harrison, in the fence with Jack Sedgwick. So drama here at Suzuka. Well, it's always never far away at Suzuka for some reason, but oh my word, what has happened there between Kieran Harrison and Jack Sedgwick, our race 1 winner. Sedgwick gets a little bit of a bump from Harrison on the way in. Now what happens here? Oh, Cedric just gets under the grass there, loses it a little bit, and then hip checks into the side of Harrison by accident, and they both end up in the fence, Sam. Drama.
Yes, Harrison's going to lose a few points. I mean, Simmons doing pretty well up there in 7th place, so his championship lead might be going down. Good news for him, of course, reverse good at 32 for race 3, so we'll be starting well up the order for that one. Nagy managed to hold on against Williams down into turn 1, actually has pulled away slightly. If Cooper's going to win this one, he's got to get past Williams now. And of course, at the same time, not lose any time. So easy peasy stuff him. I laughed at the end of that last lap, because the top all covered the inside line, and Nagy Guinness couldn't believe his luck. I was like, oh guys, if you're all going to slow each other up, I'll just go around the racing line. And he overtook 2 cars on the outside. Tricky stuff there for those top 4. You can't really do anything, right? Because if you go to the outside, you'll get bugs on the inside. But still, Guinness up into 4th place. He has been brilliant with his overtaking so far tonight, and still has a chance. But of course, this is the penultimate lap, so whoever can be leading going into turn 1, so he doesn't have it in the bag, but I would count them as favour, as Williams really nice through Spoon and actually dropping Cooper. So Williams should have a clear shot of Nagy here.
Well, let's see. Is Nagy going to do the same thing as they head up towards 130R? Williams just popping out to think, can I fit through there? No, probably not advisable. And they swoop through down towards the Casio Triangle, and Nagy just got that little bit of an advantage. 2 or 3 car lengths allows him to enter on the racing line. Williams also able to, as well as Cooper, now got his hands full with Guinness, who's now... Oh, this is quite interesting as well, isn't it? Because Cooper and Guinness slowing each other up a little bit. Damien Harris going through there as well. George Simmons all of a sudden up there as well again. So these guys all knocking lumps out of each other. And Craig Williams and Daniel Nagy are like, oh, hit the afterburners. See you later, chaps.
Yeah, Guinness had to, just trying to get the podium right now. The race win has surely gone for those guys now. It can be Nagy versus Williams down into 130. Williams Woodhouse doing so well again up there in 10th place. And actually Glasgow and Gregory, I think that's the same top 3 in the outer category we had in race 1, of course. They have separated out a bit, but it's still been some brilliant racing we've had at Suzuka, and of course, hopefully for race 3, it should keep up, of course. Woodhouse really having to defend. Here comes Smith, who was, of course, fighting for the win in race 1. He's gained as many places as his rivals in this race as Smith. He's kept it clean. to go to the outside there. But I think we're going to have to pay attention now to Negi and Williams pretty much from now on, as they all track extend going out of the second Degner. It was Negi really trying to break the job down the pit straight. It's a lot more difficult to do that down into 130R because the track's that much thinner. But he's just got a nice gap at the moment, Negi. It's 0.3 of a second. Williams has got to absolutely nail Spoon Curve if he's going to be close.
That he will. Yeah, these at the Spoon Curve is one of the most challenging corners anywhere in the world. It's almost got like 3 or 4 apexes. I know I'm adding on apexes as the broadcast goes on, but my word, it's just to get it absolutely right. It's such an art, but it looks like Craig Williams has nailed it. Look at this, he's right in the draft, and it looks like he's got enough of a run to have a look into 130R. Negi shuts that door hard, and they go side by side into 130R. Williams gives him a good old shove through the very, very fast left-hander 130R into the Casio's triangle. They go side by side again. Oh, Negi shuts the door again. Williams gives him a nudge once, twice, 3 times an Audi. Oh, through they go. And it looks like it's going to be Daniel Negi from Craig Williams. Or is he going to lose out to Cooper? No, he's not. Wow, as quick as that over the line. Negi, Williams, Cooper. What a finish again here at Suzuka. Fantastic.
0.22 covering the top 3 drivers right there, and it wasn't far back to Guinness. Nice defense there from Negi. I think he's moved down into 130. Maybe was a little bit late, and had Williams not had to got out of the throttle, maybe would have been able to get a better run on the outside. But of course Negi also had that collision earlier on in the race, but I think that was still a well-deserved race win for a very competitive driver in Daniel Negi, who of course faces in real life as well. And nice podium there. I mean, Negi, Williams, Cooper. I mean, to be fair, Cooper did get pole position at Virginia earlier on in the season, didn't he? But kind of 3, solid top 10 drivers, not necessarily usually fighting for the race wins. Nice to see them all doing really well on that occasion.
Absolutely fantastic. And now we've got a beautiful Japanese sunset for our 3rd race, but this is how they finished in race 2. Daniel Negi winning by, well, a colossal margin compared to race 1, 1/10 of a second from Craig Williams, with Jason Cooper 2/10 of a second off the pace. About a week in the context of Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. Corentin Guinez was 4th, another strong drive from the Frenchman, with his compatriot and teammate Roman Botler finishing in 5th. Damien Harris was 6th, followed by George Simmons, Wojciech Svaridovic, Norbert Leitner and Fraser Smith rounding out the top 10. Mark Woodhouse, your AM class winner, once more in 11th, but Sergei Glazkov charging late in the race to just give away 2 spots to Woodhouse in the AM class battle. Interesting stuff indeed. Marcel Tai finished in 12th for Team Heusken Velt, followed by Glazkov and Igor Shirokov and Ben Gregory rounding out the top 15. Martin Ashert was 16th, followed by Oystein Herford, Marcel Fritsch, Tim Perry, Terje Flatten, Andre Woodhouse and Kieran Harrison after that tangle with Sedgwick. Does a good job to get the car back going again, and that could be critical to recover his night. Toby Ward was 23rd, followed by Vasily Zaitsev, Jack Tingy, John Billingsley, Arjen Bakker, Martin Shirley, Richie Day, Andrew Brema, Jack Sedgwick, Bruno Belny, Carl Janssen, of course, with a puncture early on, and Oliver Ackerman in 34th place and not scoring points. So, we are just going to take a very short break here on Apex Racing TV. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back with race 3, and it's sure to be a cracker.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing.
Welcome back to Suzuka, where we are preparing for the third and final race of this fantastic race meeting here at Suzuka. It's going to be a real thriller in this final race, 20-minute race as always, and we're getting word that Carl Janssen has exited the session. So championship contender Carl Janssen will, well, we believe, will not take part in this race after having a reverse grid pole. We will keep you updated if there's any change, but that's what we are expecting at this point in time. As you can see, the drivers are getting up onto the grid right now. They're eager to get going, to get this final race up and running. And we've got Bruno Belny, the Martiniquez driver, starting on pole position, with Jack Sedgwick ominously parked there in second on the grid and has the inside line for the run down to turn one. So our last few drivers will gather their spots on the grid, and their lights are now being prepared. So we are ready to go for the final race here at Suzuka. The lights come up and we are off for the final time, and it's a very good start there from Belny. He's got a nice clean launch in the number 277. Can Cedric get alongside in time? He can, but it's side by side down into turn one. Belny's going to fight him hard for it, but Cedric just gets ahead. Now this is where you start the clock, Sam, because if Cedric gets some clean air, the guys behind have got a lot of work to do, and they need to do it quick.
Absolutely. Some slow starts from kind of the third and fourth rows of the grid. P3 didn't take the start as well, which was Andrew Bramer. So a big gap between the top two and the rest of the order already. But nice start for Harrison, up 4 places. Flatten up 5 places, up into 8th position. So quite a few changes so far in this race. As Tingy up the inside. Ward having a tough time, but he's on all the pits of grass right there, doing some gardening work for the groundskeeper. As Harrison goes off the circuit, the car number 1 is not too bad for him. Might have much damage from that one, but well, another contact as well. It's almost 3 wide as he rejoins the circuit, gets a nice exit, and does stay ahead of Tingy and Hereford right there, and looking to attack the drivers ahead immediately. Tingy taking a very wide line. So Fiorentic starts this one, means that Flatten's now up 7 places in just half a lap. So a mighty start there from the Norwegian.
Indeed, yeah, great to see Terry Flatten having a good charge. Of course, got a few fans in the YouTube chat tonight, which is always nice to see. So yeah, he's going big up the inside here at Spoon Curve. Goes past Vasily Zaitsev. Martin Shirley there getting very shirty with now who was that there? Martin Shirley, and I think that was Gay as well. Yes, so goodness me, it's all going off. It's all kicking off here on the run up towards 130R. Cedric has pretty much checked out already. He is nearly 3 seconds ahead, and we've not even got to the end of lap 1, Sam. Incredible.
Yeah, quite a turnaround from race 2, isn't it? Where everyone was separated by 3 seconds and then 2 laps to go. Harrison, what a first lap there. He's still gaining places. Oh, it's all going on. We've got drivers spinning left, right and centre. I think that was Ward was one of them. Oh, that's Leitner. He's had a tough night, some decent points in race 1 and 2. And also Tim Perry for 3 Spires. Leading amateur teams, of course, having a spin, so I don't know what happened there. I think there seemed to be about 5 different incidents all going on at the chicane, and free start as well. Maybe just getting back up to speed. It's one of the cars as well. Just maybe Arshan Bakker has had a crash by himself, so Apologies if we didn't catch that at all. That was a lot happening in a short period of time. There's Cedric though. Yeah, absolutely leaps and bounds ahead of the rest of the order. His nearest rival is Harrison. And I mean, that's incredible. Harrison went off the circuit, nearly spun. Still getting 6 places though on that first lap.
Yeah, brilliant stuff there from Kieran Harrison, and this is a brilliant opportunity for him as well, with Janssen not scoring points at all. This is sure to be one of Janssen's drop rounds, but you use them up, and once they're used up, they are. And Tim Perry just unlucky there. It's just such a car park going into the Casio triangle, and not a great deal he could do about it. But of course, as we said, Tim, the LMP2 AM champion, the first ever LMP2 AM champion in the Apex Racing League Prototype Championship.
Yeah, he was very impressive on that one. Will certainly be a pro for next season, and Tim certainly got the capabilities to fight for the Amateur Championship in this series as well. Yes, there's some competitive drivers in this one, but yeah, certainly congrats to him on that impressive feat. Oh, lots of bumping and barging. Oh, it's Harris off, and that was Negi who was hit. Oh, sorry, it was Negi who was spinning, and now he gets hit. Oh, it's still going. Harris spun again. Oh, what a dreadful few yards, and Famous lost a tyre. It's ahead of him on the race circuit, which is not a good sign. So, yeah, that was a bad few corners. Belney's off the circuit. The Martinique driver is down to 5th place, and in fact losing the amateur leader as well. That's a shame for the driver who was running, was up in 2nd place. It's just cutting back and forwards at the moment. Some drivers are getting loads of places. I mean, Bocler's up 16 places so far, very much doing what Janssen did in race 1. Look at the damage as well for Belny. I don't know why he didn't come into the pits, or maybe he's just letting all these guys go. But the Martinique driver having a problematic race. There's Billingsley has gone to the circuit just like he did in race 1. Ooh.
Oh, the absolute
that really is crossed.
Oh yes, it is. I love it. Goodness me, yes, that is not so friendly. As Belney's taken a cone with him as a souvenir back from his trip to Japan.
This was one of the HM Engineering cars. Wow. Oh, that's fantastic to watch. The Olympics is going to Tokyo this year. I think that would win a silver medal in the gymnastics.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. What is it about touring cars that have the most comical accidents?
Oh, that's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah, it's just something satisfying about it, isn't it?
Only a Doom merchant like you would say that it's satisfying watching crashes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm not a proper motorsports fan, you see. I'm just it's the only reason why I watch Formula 1 for the crashes and stuff. So, yeah.
What's your opinion of Drive to Survive, Sam?
I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, actually, I can't even keep up this pretense of me liking crashes because, my goodness, the sound effects and the over-dramaticness of that show does irk me. So.
I will join you in our not that impressed by it clubhouse, which may well be a phone box, but we're passionate. It's the fake commentary that gets me. It's like, oh, Grosjean up to 11th. You're like, that never happened.
No, Grosjean in 11th.
It's like, oh, Grosjean, lovely clean pass.
There you go. Well, I love a rant, and let us know if you would agree with us in the YouTube chat, or maybe you're a massive Drive to Survive fan, as I hear they do exist. Shirley being overtaken here by Bokler. That's easy. Great job so far from Shirley, by the way. You see him up there. Of course, new driver for this season. And of course, you can sign up for the remaining races as well. There's 8 to go after this meeting. We go to Brazos Indy. next time. We go to some pretty awesome circuits besides that as well. And you can sign up to the remaining 8 rounds of this Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship by visiting our site apexracingleague.com, where you can also sign up for our GT Championship, for our Cross Prototype Championship, which will be getting back underway, and our recently announced Formula 3 Championship as well, which will be on Saturday evening. So check out apexracingleague.com for more details on that.
For me, it's all about the Mazda Cup. Monday night Mazda Madness.
Of course.
That is just the dream. We've had 3 superb rounds in the Mazda Cup, and free car, free track, and unbelievable racing. And we've got that coming up on Monday. We're back on Monday night. Can't wait.
Absolutely, and an entry for that championship, just £9 plus VAT to enter the final 3 meetings of the season. So do go to the website for that. We've only got 20 cars left in this race. We've had a third of the field have been decimated so far. We're only 8 minutes into the race, so high attrition rate here at Suzuka. Despite the fact that it's because of the Grand Prix circuit, the walls are fairly tight. And you can see there, 21st downwards, all into the pits.
Yeah, it has been a particularly high rate of attrition, hasn't it, Sam? But I suppose that's very typical for Suzuka because, of course, it's such a low grip circuit, even when the temperature is actually not that high.
Yes, yeah, the amount that just increases the amount of collisions that the drivers are having, as Harrison's up into 2nd place, so he's not wasted too much time on that one. He's got past Sergio Flatten. Larson's going to be in for a good result here. The podium for him from 13th on the grid would be a good result. It's just such a difference to race 2. How spread out the drivers are right now. Zaitsev, of course, doing well in 4th place. The main battles going on, probably Savidovic, Smith and Bokler. Woodhouse just ahead of them. Great meeting so far for Woody. Or at least great race. So great race 1 to race 2, but benefiting from the large reverse grid that we had. As Savidovic moving past Smith right there. Savidovic up 18 places from his start. I think Woodhouse will be too much of a problem for him. So, yeah, Polish driver making quick work of the opposition in this final race of the evening. There he is. But I mean, Savidovic, Smith and Bokler, that could easily be the front 3, let alone 7th down to 9th.
Well, they might well knock lumps out of each other while Woody just plods along in front there. And he'll be like, yeah, guys, have a punch-up. That's fantastic. Now, what I was going to ask is, do the AM class winners, of course, you know the Pro Class will, but do the AM class winners get a bit of the bubbly? Do they get Prosecco instead of proper bubbly?
Well, I think Mr. Woodhouse, I think, decides that, and I think the precedent that he said was that the amateur winners do get a little bit of the bubbly. So, I think he, that's something to look forward to, because he is comfortably leader of the amateur jazz at the moment. So, yeah, some exciting times for Mr. Woodhouse.
Indeed, yeah, I hope he's got it on ice. He's got it in the fridge before. He's so confident that he put a bottle in the fridge before getting into the car tonight. He's like, I'll be having that later. I could just imagine him saying that as well. Brilliant stuff. Of course, Andrew Woodhouse in 6th place, our fellow commentator here on Apex Racing TV and former voice of the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. And we only hope that we're even going a part way to filling him and Adam Bath's rather big shoes.
No Adam Bath today, actually, which is a little bit of a shame. And by the way, you might be confused that Woodhouse won race 1 and race 2. He did, but that was Mark Woodhouse, not Andrew Woodhouse. So you can see Mark Woodhouse down in 16th place at the moment. Apologies if that's a little bit confusing for everyone, as there goes Savidovic up the inside. Gregory also being overtaken by Guinness. No surprise there. So now Woodhouse has got Smith, Bokler and Keeners behind. Oh, I would not want to be in his shoes. Smith going for the early move there down to turn 2. It didn't quite work out, but Woods just got to keep his head here. And yeah, that amateur win could still be his.
Indeed, it could. It's just going to be very close to see where we get in terms of when the white flag drops. Of course, quite a long lap here at Suzuka, well over 2 minutes in these touring cars. So it just depends when you tick over the line. But look at Roman Bokler now. In fact, Roman Bokler doing Woody a big favour here. by getting on the case of Fraser Smith, and now Fraser Smith's having to look backwards rather than forwards because he's got to defend from the Frenchman. And what if he if he can somehow vanquish Bocler, he's then got Corentin Guines to worry about. Gregory's there in 11th place, although Woody is in 7th. There actually is very, very little real estate between the two of them. There's just 3 pro-class nutcases in between them. That's the only buffer right now.
Yeah, and I mean, he's going to lose time, isn't he? It's Woodhouse as those drivers move past. So, yeah, Gregory's looking strong at the moment. By the way, I want to send out an apology to Fraser Smith. He said that he got pole position at Virginia. I think Cooper did get a pole position somewhere. I'm not sure where it was. We had an incredible run of, I think in the first 8 meetings, we literally may have had 8 different pole sitters. It was absolutely crazy. I think Cooper did get one, but apologies, Fraser, who hopefully will be watching this race back. Of course, racing at the moment is Mr. Smith, as here he is, trying to pull off that move on Woodhouse here. Good exit for him. Savidovic made easy work of this one on the last lap. Might see more of the same. Dipping into the draft, inside is slightly open, but you'd be a brave man to go for it. Woodhouse still with good straight line speed. He's avoided too much damage so far, and now having to go the long way round. It's Smith using the banking to his advantage. Savidovic just going ahead of Hereford as well ahead, but well, nice move there from Woodhouse. He's staying clear of Smith, and a bit of a bottleneck now lining up behind.
Tell, beautiful defence there, very clean, very fair, and there was absolutely nothing Fraser Smith could do about it. It's, Andrew Woodhouse just placing his car just perfectly, and Bocler, Bocler running it very, very close. He was rubbing the rear quarter panel of Fraser Smith's Audi there, and that could have very, very easily ended up with both of them being tangled into the fence. And this is getting rough now. Oh my word, trying to go around the outside. There's no room there at all, surely. But Bocler going for the over and under. It seems like he's just got that little bit more grip. And even Gregory's flashing his light, saying, I've got an AM class race to win here. If you chaps wouldn't mind getting out the way, that would be great. But I don't think that's going to happen. Is look at Bocler around the outside, and Fraser Smith again can't really do a great deal about it. And now Guines is on his case, and meanwhile Woody's scampering away, going, oh yes, oh come on, checkered flag, where are you?
And Zaitsev just got past Flatson as well for 3rd place. Oh
my,
spin!
oh dear, don't do that to my mate. I'll biff you.
And Smith as well losing out. Oh, shame for Raymond Bocler there. Can he stay ahead of Woodhouse? I might just be letting Woodhouse pass, trying to rejoin the circuit safely. And that's held up everyone a little bit there. So, wow, that's taking a few drivers out of the reckoning there. And good news there for Woodhouse. And good news for Guines as well, who has one of the highest point scores of the evening, of course, will Guines by the end of today. Yeah, this is really where the main battle is going on. Zaitsev confirming that move on Flatson. You can just see him pulling away on that last lap. A 2-minute 14.7 for him. By the way, quick shout out to one of our sponsors for this broadcast, SDK Gaming, who provide our overlay, which you can see with the timings up on the battle box and the position and the track map and the logos and everything, all supplied by SDK Gaming. And of course, it's a fantastic tool for broadcasting, streaming, and as a heads-up display as well. So check out SDK/gaming.co.uk in order to get yourself a subscription. You can do a bunch of customization on it as well. You can pretty much make it look however you want. All the iRacing operations are done by SDK, and you can customize the formatting all for yourself. So do check out the website.
Indeed, that's the unfair. The Roger Penske and Mark Donoghue always used to talk about the unfair advantage. Well, an SDK Gaming overlay head-up display, that is the unfair advantage. Take advantage of it. Now, I think Corentin Guines is maybe just nursing a little bit of front damage there, because of course after that little bit of a tangle with between Bokler and Smith. Guinez wasn't really able to slow down in time and ran into the back of Smith, and I'm sure with only kidding, I'm sure it wasn't with any intention, but he probably would have thought, oh yeah, have that for taking my pal off. But he's in the 8th position right now. Woody's still carrying on there in 7th, and look at this, Gregory's got big problems here with George Simmons, and this could be massive for the AM class win, and it looks like it will be. Yes, it will be. It will be the white flag being prepared now on the flag stand, so it'll be last lap when they go over the line. Simmons goes by, so that's another car in between Woodhouse in 7th and Gregory in 10th.
Yep, and big points as well for Simmons, of course, just the 1 extra point. But he'll need that for the championship, and should be able to outscore Harrison, I think, across tonight, because Harrison having that disastrous race 2 earlier on. Simmons, can he catch up to Guinez if Guinez is struggling a bit? What was Guinez's last time? Oh, it was good, you know, the fastest driver of all. 2 minute 14.14. So front damage or no front damage, he's quick. And I think he should be able to get past Woodhouse on this last lap, as Woodhouse runs a little bit wide, takes a tight line as well. It's so tricky. So you go off on, or you're offline on one of these S's, tricky to get back on course. And actually, Guinez could get past Hereford as well. If there wasn't Woodhouse in the way, I think he would be getting Hereford. But yeah, Guinez, he doesn't want to be too aggressive. Not worth picking up a penalty for this one. But oh, he would like to get past Woodhouse. Will he go for the move into Degner?
Well, let's see, going into Degner 1, it's a very fast corner. You're really going to thread the eye of the needle here. Into Degner 2, sometimes pull a block past there. No, but gets a good run here as they come up towards the hairpin bend. Goes to the outside, so very confident that he's got enough pace to hook it right round the back of Andrew Woodhouse. They go side by side. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Woody says, have that. And Guinez thinking, oh, okay, it's like that, is it? As they come around through Dunlop, my apologies, Dunlop, silly me, down towards Spoon Curve they go for the final time then. Is Guinez going to be able to fill up the inside here? No, he's going to have to go the long way around. Woody really making him work for this. Moves Guinez out onto the paint. A little bit of a wobble there for Woody. Nudge again, and a nudge, another one. Goodness me. Well, Guinez is going to try and get the run up now, up to 130 Sam.
As here comes Cedric around the final corner. He's going to take the race win for his second race win of the night. Sensational performance there from Cedric, but here comes Guinez trying to get it done on Woodhouse. He's going off the circuit. He'll have the inside though for the chicane.
Well, he's got going all in. Here is Woody. Guinez gets by, and Corentin Guinez will move up into 7th spot. Harrison in 2nd, Zaitsev 3rd, but Corentin Guinez is just going to edge out Andrew Woodhouse, but Andrew Woodhouse takes the AM class win in 8th, with Ben Gregory just 2 positions back in 10th. What a dramatic finish there to that race, Sam.
Yeah, that was a good one. There was a few less drivers left on circuit by the end, but it still made for some very good racing right there. And yeah, it's a Woodhouse win in all 3 races, so congratulations to that surname. They're not related, but you know, maybe they are down the line. In fact, were they top 2? No, they were 1st and 3rd there, because Gregory in 2nd place in that one. But well done to Jack Cedric. I mean, he hasn't, the race wins have been fairly sparse for him so far this season, so to get 2 in an evening, I think to end up highest point score of anyone, really great news for him. So congrats to Jack on that one. I think the championship probably out of reach, but we're only halfway through the season, so this is meeting 8 of the season. We've still got 8 more to go, so it could still change around. And yeah, those couple of race wins for Cedric maybe could be the turning points in the championship.
Maybe it could, yes, exactly. A long way to go in this championship here in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Paddock. Your winner then, Jack Cedric. Almost forgot about poor Jack there. He was so dominant, nearly 7 seconds to the good from Kieran Harrison in 2nd. We didn't get him on the camera that much, but a great drive from Jack Cedric. Harrison getting through to 2nd and bagging some very valuable points indeed, with Vasily Zaitsev finishing in 3rd. Terry Flatten was 4th, followed by Wojciech Serwidovic Oyston Hereford and Quarantine Green is just pipping Andrew Woodhouse at the last moment. George Simmons finished in 9th, followed by 2nd place M-Class driver and 10th overall, Ben Gregory. Igor Shirokov was 11th, followed by Fraser Smith, Jason Cooper, Craig Williams, Mark Woodhouse, Marcel Frisch, Martin Shirley, Roman Boatler, Richie Day and Jack Tingy, rounding out the top 20. 21st was Sergei Glaskov, followed by John Billingsley, Bruno Belny, Daniel Nagy, Damien Harris, Arjen Bakker, Andrew Brema, Martin Ashert, Tim Perry, Toby Ward, Norbert Leitner, Marcel Tai, Carl Janssen and Oliver Ackerman. So a lot of drivers not taking the start or being put out early. So a real mixed bag for the championship contenders today, Sam.
Yeah, I don't think any of them had a unanimously good race, and none of them had Janssen had a unanimously bad race. Just hope that we see Janssen back. I think he got a little bit frustrated, hence why he quit. Can only hope that he is around for the final 8 meetings of the season, because he's still very much in the hunt. But, Harrison, he went off in race 2. Was it race 2 where he went off? Race 3, I think he went off, didn't he? And of course, race 2 he crashed. It still ends up with a lot of points. It really does show how formidable the defending champion is.
It certainly does, and it just shows you how his kind of consistency first approach really works as well. It was quite a strange incident there in race 2 with Jack Cedric. It seems like they really kind of tangled together a little bit as well. And something I saw in the YouTube chat that Jack Cedric took the time to come in and I do apologise, in the in-race chat I do apologise, questioning the damage model, which is always up for quite a lot of debate in this particular car.
Yeah, I saw that one. It was a particularly weird one for Cedric when he crashed on there, because it kind of seemed to almost anchor the car into the ground, and you saw that the car suddenly stopped. So it was very odd, just with the damage that he got, and of course that meant that he didn't even score any points as well. So yeah, always a point of contention. iRacing can never get it perfect. It has improved in the last couple of seasons. It used to be even more sensitive, but still certainly a little bit of room for improvement on that one, because we are waiting for drivers to join us in the commentary box, but at the moment we don't have anyone. But we can still talk about, Peter, the next round of the championship, because, well, do you know what the next round of the championship is?
Well, great minds think alike, Sam, aren't we so in sync? We're at Brands Hatch Indy in a week's time on the 1st of April. Now, you and I, we do like a bit of a lark about, and on being the 1st of April, I mean, can you imagine? It's a free reign to say whatever we like, surely. This Audi's got 800 horsepower.
I could have put centripetal circuits in, couldn't I? Or or Suzuka, or Oran Park. You would go to Oran Park.
A rallycross.
Or rallycross, yeah. No, but maybe it continues the April Fool's theme. But at the start of the year, I think there were some very positive minds, and I was probably one of them, thinking that we could get the British Touring Car Championship underway by April, and Brands Hatch Indy, I think, was meant to be the first round in April. Things have changed since then, of course, and the whole schedule's totally different to what it was originally, and so it doesn't quite match up anymore. So that was the logic for that one. In the real life, it was meant to be Brands Hatch Indy next week, but unfortunately that's not the case. But still, a lovely circuit for the drivers to tackle. Won't be too tricky for them to learn the circuit. They've done a bunch of laps around there in the past, but on the Grand Prix circuit, and should have chances. I think we're going to have an interview with one of our drivers.
Indeed we are. We have Fraser Smith, the VIR pole sitter, is with Sam Fitzpatrick.
Yes, here he is. And again, Fraser, apologies for getting the Virginia pole sitter wrong. Because I knew that you got one. I knew that I think that Jason got one. I think he got one. But clearly I got that one wrong. But besides that, your evening was fairly good out there. Getting top 12s in all of the races and really good pace. I mean, race one, you're really mixing it with the top guys. I mean, were you feeling particularly confident around this circuit?
Yeah, I seem to always go pretty well here for whatever reason. And yeah, race one came as a shock, to be honest. So I'll take that. I need more of that. race three, you probably saw it. I'm sure you did. I took Roman out. I think Corentin behind just did a successful mind punt on me. I saw him moving around, hit my brakes too hard, and took his teammate out. So sorry.
Well, Pizza was pretty much nailed that one then, because he came up with a good narrative on that, and it seems to have been reflected there. But you still got some pretty good results on that one. That race 2 in particular was crazy. I mean, literally at one point, I think first down to 16th. We're separated by about 5 seconds. I mean, how was it from your perspective? Did you find it easy, quite tricky to make moves, or yeah, what was it like?
Yeah, I was finding it pretty hard to make moves, and when I did that, I mean, the nature of this, like you said, everyone's so close that when you do make a move, someone else is there to fill the gap, and it's pretty hard to actually make it stick. But I found that a lot of people were sort of trying to make moves into the chicane. And if I had space, I would just hold back a bit and try and then overtake them into turn 1, which works sometimes. But if everyone's quick, no one's particularly slow, so nothing comes easy.
Absolutely. And we're now halfway through the season. Believe it or not, we're eight meetings in. We've got another 8 to go. What would you say is your highlight so far this season? Would it be the pole position back at Virginia, or something else?
I would say that, but I've got bad memories of bottling it pretty badly. So today was probably the most fun I've had this season. So more of that.
Absolutely. And Brands Hatch Indy for next time you ever race these cars around that configuration.
I've done plenty of racing there, mainly at obviously the GP track, but I've definitely done plenty around the Indy track, not with this many cars and not with reverse grids. So I might just have to close my eyes and hope for the best, to be honest.
Were you around? I can't remember if it was last season or if it was the season before when we had the pile up down like the middle straight around that circuit under the bridge. Were you around for that race, or was that a bit before your time?
No, that was a bit before my time. I probably just about started iRacing then, and I was watching it on YouTube. And I thought, yeah, sign me up when I saw that.
So some of the memes from that were absolutely exceptional. Real high of the league. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Fraser?
Yeah, yourselves, everyone at Apex Racing TV, Apex Racing Leagues, and my teammates at Full Sim Racing too.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Fraser, and best of luck for the next round of the championship.
Cheers, all the best.
Fraser Smith. I'm really glad I've just remembered the Brands Hatch meeting last time. I'll have to send some images, Peter, to come up with some of the memes that we made that day. Great meeting. That one, massive pile up. Unfortunately, that's on the Grand Prix layout. That on that part of the circuit, it wasn't on the Indy layout, so I don't think we'll have quite that many issues again. But it will still be nice to return to that part of the world.
Indeed it will, of course. There's one thing that Brands Hatch in touring cars equals drama. It's as consistent as gravity. How many times have we seen in the British Touring Car Championship, the final round at Brands Hatch, it go down to the wire? So I'm sure it will be a whole lot of fun. One not to be missed. A week today, same time again, 8 PM UK time, and can Carl Janssen strike back? It's beginning to slip from his fingers a little bit, and Kieran Harrison starting to turn the screw on this championship battle, but no doubt about it, we'll have 3 very exciting races. Thanks so much for tuning in to watch this broadcast here on Apex Racing TV. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in a week's time at Brands Hatch. Good night.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala,
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke,
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong,
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
and many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.